Okay, what I've been busy adding in here are the station details and signage for under the roof section. First, in front of you here are the platform number signs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. I think it is 20 centimetres, 200 millimetres, I've got another bit of detail, so I've tried to space it out evenly and vary it as we go along. So we've got a destination and arrivals and departures frame there. We've got one of my seats with a backman seated passenger on it, and the 10 Commandments steel bins that I sprayed to match the station's colour scheme. Then I've got one of my Dean Park signs and another seating on platform 5 and 6 with another chap waiting on his train. And again there, I've not got anyone sitting in that one though. And some more signage, and the same on platform 2 here, and even down on the inside there I've got the vending machine and a single sided station platform sign there. And past that, for the footbridge, I've got a digital clock, and all the way down to this part here another platform 2 sign. I've tried to space them out evenly to make them look like they've been deliberately put there, not just haphazard stuck in as and when, so there's a bit more logic to it. I've glued the buffer stops down. Before they were just situated on a kind of friction fit, but I found that when trains did tend to go into them at a bit of pace, if I'd been lax with my braking skills, they tended to move too much, and if they move too much the paint starts to flake off them, so I just thought I'd secure them to the deck, so to speak. Down into the concourse area, a bit more variation here. I've got a vending machine with a seat, a ticket machine. I've got the destination boards facing up, and this time it's just facing up the platform, and that'll be platforms 4 and 5, and they're facing, so the passengers can stand here and look at the screens. And I've got my 10 Commandments metal brass etched seats there. They were pre-bought, pre-painted. They were £5 each, so I've limited myself to 4 because it's far too expensive really for what they are, but they are very good, as I've shown you in one of my previous videos. And the bucket there for passengers to put their rubbish in, and then I've got an information sign, and that's double-sided. That's just made out of plastic card, and the information signs are self-adhesive ones that I got from Trackside Designs in one of my packs that I bought. And you've got the station buffet there, and a couple of folk on the bridge, one chap waiting to see some trains, and another woman not giving a jot about the trains, she just wanted to get down to the buffet, I think. So there we have the signage kind of in place now. I'll continue to put passengers. I'm just going to blue tack them to the surface. I did think about tacky wax, but it leaves a greasy mark on the card surface, and it says they could be removed with a warm damp cloth. And I'm thinking, well, that would just ruin the card and certainly the tarmac tops of the platform, so I quickly ditched that idea, and I just got some tiny bit of blue tack. And there's more passengers here. Again, they're all backman scene craft passengers, businessmen, shoppers, a chap there buying a ticket, a man going towards his boot of his Golf GTI to put the pram in, hopefully with the baby put in the back seat first, and the station porter with his trolley. So I'll keep adding more passengers. So what I've added more of here, if you look at back in my previous video, underneath the billboard it was rather bald, mud. I thought, I'll add in more scenic stuff. I've added in quite a lot more static grass around here, to give it impression that it's, you know, quite overgrown, and I've moved the bushes along towards the ladder. What I've also done is, I've done previously, but it was highlighted by Terry Broad. What I also do is I sprinkle some blended turf in with the static grass. It looks like weeds and clover. I don't know if you can kind of see that. So it's just not grass, it's kind of got a mix of textures. I've done that on the other side, but I added it on this side as well. And a bit more sparse static grass there, a bit more trodden down and flattened grass, because people might be walking towards the cabinets and that. And you don't want all the static grass the same length and the same consistency. You want it patchy, depending on where it is. So hopefully that's added a bit more depth to the scenic part there. As you improve your skills, I suppose you kind of go back and add bits to make things a bit better. But yeah, I'm pleased with that. Okay, I'm going to get back to adding some more passengers to the station. Okay, now I've added some more figures to the station. It looks a bit more populated, a bit more active. The one at the top there is a British Rail member of staff giving the all clear for a train to depart. Then we've got a businessman reading his newspaper, a couple of gents greeting each other. Down here we've got a gentleman looking at the display boards there, and a chap with a briefcase and suitcase, and a woman reading her newspaper with looks what is suspiciously like a John Lewis carrier bag. Moving down the station, we've got this woman here tucked in behind the sign. Got another member of staff acknowledging the other chap's waving off of the train. The guy kind of sitting on the bench thinking, what's she all about? Granny and a little girl here, maybe going on a away day somewhere, a wee treat for the little girl with her granny. As we move down the station, I've got a British Rail member of staff giving this chap, who doesn't look too chuffed because he's folded his arms, some information, and with the two women there kind of earwigging into the conversation. A woman here who looks like it's suspiciously a mobile phone in her hand, but since it's a set in the late 80s, they were pretty rare to say the least, so I'll just ignore what she's holding. I don't know, I'll just say it's a silver ticket of some sort. A couple of guys, a couple of folk on the bridge that I talked about earlier. This chap here with his radio in his hand, kind of acknowledging something. And down here I've got trackside workers at the communications hut, signal hut, in a bit of a conflab, in a bit of a conversation there. These guys have been glued in place, a wee touch of rocket adhesive. If you want to take them off, you just rip them off. It's not going to damage the scenery. Easy patched up if I manage to take a couple of bits of grass with me, but I'm sure it's easy repaired. So there we have it. We've got a station of activity for the first time, really. There's people waiting on trains, people waving off trains. You've got to use your imagination, I suppose, even when the train's not there. And I managed to fit another chap in the signal box. If I go along here, he's a British Rail member of staff, but the way he was standing, I don't know if it's where the paint is, he looked suspicious like Adolf Hitler. So I thought, ooh, I better put him to work. So yeah, maybe it's just the way he's dressed, but it looks suspiciously like an Adolf moustache there. So he's been confined indoors. I'm now going to put the roof back on and kind of complete the station in this phase, and it'll be the back area here which I have the roof off for next, for ballasting, etc., and fitting of backboards. But hope you like the people who've joined the Dean Park experience. I'm sure they're going to get a nice cheap day return somewhere. hopefully the train will be within an hour of its allotted time. Punctuality was sometimes lacking in the British Rail era. I like it. I like how I've put life to the station. You know, it just finishes it off for me. People going about their business. And somebody in my last video commented that didn't know if it was real or a model at some point. Well, hopefully, you know, this adds a wee bit more realism to the whole scene. If you remember back to when I was detailing my station, I think before Christmas time, I bought these kind of standpipes with posts, and I've painted them yellow, and I fitted them on this platform 6, and these are the water mains and pipes to refill the Mark III and Mark II water tanks for obviously the toilets, etc. So I had them, they were, I say, gem castings, and I didn't have any wire. However, I've got away with using this orange wire that I've used for the kind of pipe work there with the trunking. And what I've done with these, I've just taken a Humbrol weathering powders, mixed it with some matte coat and some thinners to kind of a very, very light, muddy, kind of grimy wash. And so it looks like the orange pipes have been, you know, there for a while, and they've weathered down, and they've you know, picked up grime and stuff from being used. And all I did was I snipped about, I don't know, it was 3 inches of wire, and kind of put it in a kind of left kind of hose loop, you know, twisted and bent and whatever. I did the same with this one, and they're just left lying. They kind of go into the taps. It's kind of left lying for the next person to come along to refill the Mark IIIs. So I think that just kind of finishes that little bit off. It gives them actually a realistic purpose now, as opposed to just taps sitting. So I was quite chuffed with that. That's not multi-core wire, that's a single core wire, because that tends to, when you bend it, it stays in place. Something else I've been doing is I've been electrifying the upper main line. Take it all the way along to the bridge at the end there. And these are 14.5 inches apart, just like on the lower section. And they look right spacing. You know, it's about a maybe what the Mark IIIs are 300mm, which is about 12 inches. So you know it's longer than a Mark III coach, the gap between them. And what I've done is I've put them on 3mm. I made these out of card actually. These concrete bases for the lamp they continue to go on. And if I take that one out, you can see I've drilled a kind of hole in it, painted it with weathered concrete. That's a Precision Paints weathered concrete, and I glued it down after I'd obviously drilled all the holes in the board. Now these Dapple ones, they've got a kind of wing nut that you can actually screw in place from underneath the baseboard, but obviously with the raised area I can't get easy access to that, so I'm just going to stick them in and put a wee touch of glue just to hold them vertical and in the right position. And if I do break one, then they'll be easy enough to replace, and you know, without hacking anything and re-drilling holes and stuff. You kind of have to put them on the raised section, you know, the raised base if you like, because I've got the track work on 2 3mm cork anyway, so it would be too low if you just stuck it straight into the baseboard. And I see quite a few, you know, people putting them on these wee stands and whatnot, just to lift them up to the actual heights. I've done a wee bit of research into the actual heights and put it into 00 scale, and these are the right heights from the contact wire to the rail, the top of the rail is correct. Something else I've done here is I've added some in yard filth. This is a green scene textured paint yard filth, and all I'm really doing is I'm kind of giving the baseboard a base for putting ballast and scenery on. It is textured. I put one coat, you can kind of see it hopefully there. It's kind of like paint with sand in it, and as I say, yard filth the colour. You get other ones, General Muck I think is another one of his paints, and they're quite good. They do go a long way. I've used it quite a lot, and I've had to cut it into the kind of the bottom of the wall there. Obviously the bottom of the wall into the muck will be kind of covered with weeds and some static grass and whatever, because you know, garbage and that thrown away and bits and pieces are left, sleepers and rail and stuff. And that kind of bare bit in the middle there, that'll be where a signal's going, as the same as this white kind of rectangular patch, that's where another signal will be going. And I've put all the orange trunking stuff in, and I've got a cork, kind of like you see it's semi-painted there, for putting the cable trunking on, just to raise it up a wee bit, so when I do put some gravel and grass and scatter down, it doesn't totally disappear at this stage. There are parts of the layout where it's flush with the top of the ballast and gravel, but this I'm wanting it a wee bit raised, and I say that's just I think it's 1 to 16 inch thick cork, as opposed to the 1/8 inch cork that I used for the bed of the track. So there we have it. I'm waiting on some more of these dapple masts coming from Hatton's. I think they sell them for £8.50 or something for 10. You get 5 of the long armed masts and 5 of the short armed masts. There's bringing out double or twin arm ones and double ones actually, but they seem to be forever in releasing them, so I just thought, well, I don't need them for this section, I may as well go along and overhead wire it. This is just obviously temporary. They'll be taken out from when I'm ballasting and doing scenery, and they'll be just put back in. But just I need to position where they're all kind of going, and it does start to look more like a main line. It's very early days yet. Maybe next month you'll see this kind of come to fruition. But I'm still painting and thinking about detail. I'm not going to ballast straight up to the wall. There'll be a wall running along there as well, the same as that. But that'll have to happen after I've got the back scenes fitted to allow me to move these out easier without hitting the wall. I'm not taking the ballast straight up to the wall. Maybe, you know, to around about here, and then this will all be kind of either muck, weeds, you know, small kind of shrub things. And as it goes into a smaller area, the ballast will probably go right up against the wall, because the wall will be literally at the back of that mast. So there won't be a lot of room. So there's no point in leaving an exposed mud border. It would be pencil thin really. And kind of the same at this side. I've started to paint that bit, but I don't know if I'll bother going all the way along. I think I might just put the ballast straight to the wall because of the narrowest of spaces I've got. That's only 30mm from track to wall, so it might be quite fidgety. I'll put some shrubs and sort of along there, but that's the plans anyway. And I'm still contemplating the back scene situation. I know what I'm wanting, I'm just making sure that it's right before I go and order a 40-foot stretch of back scene, which will basically cover this whole side and one end of the layout. Something that's not progressed since the last layout update at the end of February is this section. I am still waiting on the foam elevation from International Models. I emailed and I was assured that they're due in this week, so hopefully they're in the post to me next week, and by the end of the month my plan is to have laid from the end of the Raiswood bit there all the way around to join the existing track. That's the plan. Tune in at the end of the month to find out if I've actually met that ambitious goal. I say ambitious because, well, I ordered the bits of foam 3 weeks ago now and I'm still waiting. Again, I've done it with the overhead masts. I've added the base to them. See, that's just grey card glued together, drilled a 5mm hole in the sheet of it, and then cut them to fit round the base. And this is how some of them are along the East Coast main line, just to raise them up, because obviously I think that's called the cess of the track. It's quite a bit lower sometimes than the actual track, and because I've got quite a ballast shoulder there, I wanted to raise this, you know, to the correct height, and I hope that looks okay. I've used that on my station section already, but they were all gravelled up to the level of the concrete. They won't be here. There'll be a small area of gravel, a runoff if you like, just gradual, and then the gravel will stop around here, and then this will be weeds, overgrown area before the retaining walls and all that kind of stuff. That's the plan anyway. No doubt it will change 1,000 times before it gets done. Dapple's overhead masts are by far the best on the market just now for usability and affordability, so I'd recommend them. Okay, now we've got the roof back on and all the LEDs for the roof lighting wired back in. We've got the complete station with passengers. As you can see, these are backman figures of different packs, from standing passengers to businessmen shaking hands there, to British Rail staff. I think now the roof's on, it shows up and sets off the detail underneath actually better than when the roof was actually, you know, off when I was fitting them. You can see in here it's a bit more lifelike, a bit more going on. It's not a busy station just now. I'll be adding more figures in. Certainly looks better. One wee final thing before I go, I've started a thread on RMWEB. I don't know if you're maybe a member of it. You might want to log in and check it out and add your comments to my thread. It's who wants a newly tooled Class 91, and it's a poll, and in this poll I've asked some questions. Are you content with the level of detail in the current Hornby Class 91 and Mark IV DVT? At the moment you can see it's overwhelmingly no. What features would you like to see on a new one? All the kind of super detail stuff going on there, sprung buffers, etc. Would you be interested in adding a Class 91 to your layout? Yes, the current model is fine, has 3 votes. Yes, but only if it's retooled. It's 64. And some days, some 13 folk have said no, which is fair dues. And there's the liveries that are available, and at the moment Swallow and GNER are out in front, with the new Virgin East Coast coming up in 3rd place. And then just to kind of summarise, what other electric locomotives do you have on your layout? And obviously the Hornby 91 is popular, but then again it's been on the market for 20 odd years, so there's going to be a lot of them out there. And the new Bachmann Class 90 has got a lot of interest there. People have ticked it if they're intending to buy it, or they have a pre-order on it like myself. So there is a market for these electrics. We've got the other ones on the market there. The Bachmann 85 has turned out to be popular, and you know, Bachmann are pressing ahead with another one. So you might want to fill in the poll, add your comments onto the thread, and I hope you can support me if you have any interest in this whatsoever. we're really looking at the 91 and the Mark IV DVT to be retooled. As I said, they've been out since 1989, and that's just, I mean, I was just barely 12 years old. I was still in primary school, and it's about time a new one was brought out. The Mark IV coaching stock is fair enough. It could do a wee tweak here and there, but Hornby are best placed to do this because they have, you know, the existing rolling stock that they can, you know, mate up with a newly tooled driving and DVT. So if you want to go on and check this out, I'm just trying to get support. Hornby are aware of this. I've emailed them to tell them I'm doing this and to ask them to have a look at the threads and the comments. So please keep it clean. But if you wish to add your tuppence worth and you know, answer the poll, then that'd be much appreciated. So there we have it just now. Apologies for having no running in this video. That will come at the end of the month when I hopefully have a bit more work done on the upper section at the back there. And yeah, we push forward to spring, where I'll start to wind down my activities up the loft for the summer, because it gets a bit hot up here, and that'll be me taking stuff downstairs to potter about on in the summer months. But hopefully we've got another 2 or 3 months of work on the layout before that summer break. Thanks for watching just now.